Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Tech Gala, and today we have Akshay with us. So after a long time I'm doing a podcast, and first of all this is the new home in Bangalore, and I've recently shifted over here. So this is the first time I'm setting the microphone, I'm setting the lights. I'm not pretty sure how is it working, but I'm pretty sure the podcast will be working for you guys if you listen till the end, and Akshay will be sharing tips and tricks on how you can ace SIH, that is Smart India Hackathon, this year because he is one of the winners of SIH. So before starting anything, Akshay, do you mind introducing yourself a bit?
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Akshay Kumar Gautam. I am currently working as a data scientist for past 1.5 years, and I'm a recent graduate. So I've graduated, last month. I'm still awaiting my degree, so I'm not sure if I can call myself a graduate. And I am interested in almost every technology there is, but my major fields are
Okay, that is
robotics
interesting.
and data
We
science.
generally don't meet a
So that's
lot of
about me.
people who have a data science background. They generally say themselves either, as ML engineers, or they say like, hey, I am into software development. But meeting someone who's data scientist, and again, being a data scientist also, you get a chance to win a hackathon. That is something big. So, like, there will be a lot of folks who want to be aware what is Smart India Hackathon. Talking about myself, if I talk about previous year, I had no idea what is it because my college, does not take part in it. Because before Smart India Hackathon, I guess there is an internal round that needs to be held in college, but my university was not conducting that, so none of my seniors or batchmates were part of it. So we had legit no idea. So I'm pretty sure there must be also people who are unaware of the fact of what is Smart India Hackathon. So maybe if you can enlighten them, it will be really, really good.
All right. So the Smart India Hackathon is basically a hackathon as to say, but it's really different when you go inside of this whole system. It is conducted by Government of India, completely funded by Government of India, and a lot of government as well as private organizations participate in them. Right, so you will find everything from AICTE, DRDO, ISRO to private institutions such as Shell and Coal India and a lot of institutions which are there. Autodesk, even Autodesk was there last time. So this is conducted because they face problems in day-to-day life, and they don't want to just dive, headfirst into the problem. They first want to see if the younger generation, that is the school and college students, have some solution for them, right? And that's the reason there's like two parts. So there's a junior part and there's a senior part. The junior part is for the school students, and the senior part is for college students like us. So once they conduct these hackathons, they find some solutions which make sense, and after that they will take those solutions into patent and then implementation. So it's basically a place where you go and find problems and then solve it for for this country. Basically, it's very focused. It's very patriotic hackathon,
Okay,
if you
and
will say.
like I totally
So
understand working
yeah.
directly with the government has a different feel that solving something for the army, that kick, that feel. But there, yeah,
Yeah. My
okay,
project itself was like for DRDO. So it's like when I like working, people are like, "Oh, you're working for DRDO." I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I should go that way, but like yeah, that is
yeah, that's really
it's a
important,
great
like having
experience
the
to be
feel
working
that
with.
you're building something, not just random projects you build for. You take a problem statement and then you solve on it, right? We'll be coming to every step of it. So before, like I'm pretty sure like people have understood what is Smart India Hackathon, and I hope guys you know what is hackathon. And if you don't know, do check out a podcast. I will be linking that in the description about what is a hackathon, how you should take part in it. So make sure to check that out if you don't know what is a hackathon. Okay, so like what are the stages for it, like I have been to a lot of student and hackathons, I have been to a lot of company and hackathon, but when we talk about Smart India Hackathon, it is not the way as we think it is to be, right? So can you explain, like maybe you can just say the number, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, in that way till the point when you won it, right? So maybe if you can just tell that.
Alright. Okay, yeah. So it basically starts with the announcement. So right now, after winning the hackathon, I am something called as the MIC alumni, right? So I'm, Ministry of Education's alumni. So I am in a group where I get these announcements before they're released to public. So when it was announced, it is first announced like does the poster is right, and also they'll conduct internal hackathons as well. So the poster designed for SIH 23 is designed by winners of SIH 22. okay, this is something cool. And then coming back to our topic, so they'll announce it, and then colleges or schools have to register something called as SPOC, right? And they have to register that, okay, it's basically a declaration that my college and my school is interested in participating in this hackathon, and we have student teams that want to participate in this hackathon. That's all what it means. Once your school or college has registered, they'll choose, lecturer in charge, or teacher in charge. So I'll just generalize every time I don't mention school, but do remember that the process is same for both schools and colleges, right? So they'll choose the lecturer in charge, and then they'll give them a list of guidelines to conduct an internal hackathon in the college itself. So they'll release the problem statement. The SIH team will release problem statement which has been collected from every company that is participating, and then they'll give that problem statement list publicly on the website. It is currently available on the website if you go, and then students can go there, take one or more problem statements, and they can, you know propose a solution to it, mostly using PowerPoint presentations and, a basic proof of concept, not much more than that. And the whole internal hackathon thing is left up to institutions. So institutions have the right to conduct these hackathons as they want. My institution was basic. They took ideas, they ask people to pitch, you pitch, and then they check for the feasibility of the idea. So is it implementable? If it can be implemented, then you are proceed. So once your college thinks that your idea is good, the college will send it further, right? So the college will take all of the solutions which feels good to them, and then pass it to SIH, next step. So to the center board that will verify everything. Then the center board will go through your solution, and then they will send you mails directly to team leaders. So I remember getting the mail randomly, in a random afternoon, and I was like, oh my god, I got the mail, right? So you get the mail that your team has been shortlisted for the next stage. Last time, I guess almost every team who was sent from a college received a shortlisting email, right? So that stage is something which I feel like it. Again, I don't have any numbers for it. I tried to ask for it, but didn't find it. But I think every college team that goes from the college level hackathon to the, which is sent forward, gets selected. From there, you will receive a lot of how do I say, a lot of intermediate processes. For example, you're supposed to get a T-shirt printed out. You're supposed to get your posters. You're supposed to get like the whole visual representation of your project and all that, right? And in this, your college is supposed to take charge. Your college will get money from government to do all this. So you don't have to spend a single penny on anything, right? And after that, you will get an invite for something called as nodal centers. So because of the scale of this hackathon, they cannot conduct it at one place. They conduct it at multiple locations called nodal centers, right? Thankfully, DRDO's nodal center was in Bangalore, and I am also based around Bangalore. So I could, go there, and there are multiple nodal centers. Almost, I think it's few are in UP, few are in, Karnataka, few are in different states. They have nodal centers. You go there, and nodal centers are based on companies. So, for example, the nodal center I went to was based on, I think, DRDO, Shell, and probably ISRO. Not sure, but I was also, different floors have different companies. So my floor had DRDO, and the floor above us had ISRO, and the floor below us had Shell, right? So these are all nodal center specific stuff. It varies from one center to other center. You go there, and then there the real fun starts. Okay, there you go, and there the hackathon starts, right? The continuous problem solving and reiterating and arriving at a solution part happens there, which we'll
Yeah,
probably discuss
and
later in
that's
detail.
absolutely what you said. Like, I totally understand the tech park concept and everything. So it will really cool, working and seeing folks over there who are, already working with DRD, already working with other government agencies. It has a different adrenaline rush, I guess. Now, talking of, like the prize money, like, do you get some prize money, or do you have some internship opportunities? Do you get some job opportunities? If there is something in the store, what's it?
Okay, two parts. I talk about two parts in this regard. Okay, first part is, I am the kind of person who believes that opportunities are to be created, right? And if you are that kind of person, that this hackathon, I have participated in other hackathons before. This hackathon has a separate form of opportunities that you can create for yourself, right? If you are the kind of person who can make connections, if you're the kind of person who can identify, uh, you can make friends, you can just generally meet communities. Like I joined a drone community there, and now I have a drone of my own, right? I take drone shots and stuff. So this is something that you can create. The other part which you get by yourself is, first of all, you do get a prize money. My like last year prize money was of 1 lakhs, and it will be divided among your teammates. So you don't count, oh, you got 1 lakh, but yeah, that is the prize money. But for us, to be honest, the prize money was, we didn't even focus on the prize money for that matter. We received it after like 5 6 months or so, right? And we also get all the expenses that you do. So for example, travel allowance. If you travel and you produce tickets and invoices, you'll get travel allowance and all that. After all that, what happens after the hackathon? You get job offers from a lot of companies that have participated in the hackathon, right? So you do get, you never get a direct offer. You get opportunity to directly go through the technical interview, and then you go to the next level. So it's like a shortcut to get to a technical interview. In terms of internships, it is completely up to the organization, right? So I think AICT and some state police organizations did give internships to students once they won the competition. Some other companies did not give internships, but they did give a joint project, right? Some other companies like DRDO with me, we are still working on it. We have planned a joint patent. So both of us will plan for a joint patent, fight for a joint patent. So these are all something that varies, but in terms of opportunities, you get a lot. So regardless of which company you solve the problem for, you'll get mails from a lot of different companies and Ministry of Education and a lot of related organizations to participate and take part in direct technical interviews that you can clear to get jobs. So that opportunity is also available from here. Also, after winning this, you get a lot of unrelated job opportunities. So people just reach out to you. I saw your profile. You won this hackathon. You participated in the IoT. I get a lot of IoT related job offers. I don't need it, but get a lot of those job offers. So in terms of opportunities, the ones you can create, a lot of it. The ones that you get already, also a lot of it. So as I said, the whole environment for this is very amazing, very
Okay, so there is a lot in the
fulfilling
store
for that
actually.
matter.
It's not just 1 lakh rupees that you should be running forward to, but actually the process is itself pretty interesting. And as Akshay mentioned, he was
Yeah.
not actually bothering much about the prize money. So you should focus more on building, right, rather than focusing on the money thing. So now taking forward, like if you just compare different sort of hackathons, the problem statement for Smart India hackathon is a bit different than generally what we see in hackathons, right? So how do you suggest someone who is just saying for the first time, how should they decode the problem statement, how should they take it forward, what are your suggestions on that? Should they directly contact someone from DRDO? Did you do that, or you try to understand on your own, or you had someone? How did it all like work for you?
Okay, so I think the process is exactly similar this year as well. But last year I think they organized a lot of AMAs. So ask me anything regarding the problem statements, right? So once you have been selected for a certain problem statement, you have the ability to contact people who are related to the problem statement. Now, sadly, my problem statement was from DRDO, and at the time, for also even right now, these guys are extremely busy, right? So I did not get even a single AMA. I did want to ask few questions, but I did not get there. And after the whole hackathon, I realized something, and I'll try to explain it here. Other hackathons, when you go to, right, the hackathons focus on this whole innovative innovative creation part. What they do is they give you the free hand, and they tell you, okay, this is, for example, blockchain hackathon. So you have to build something amazing with blockchain technologies or Web3 technologies, right? Or let's say you're in data science hackathon. So you're like, okay, you have to build this amazing model or fine tune or get insights, stuff like that. In this hackathon, it's slightly different because here you are already working towards a problem that has been there, that has existed. Now what happens, what this entails is this problem has a background. This problem already has an existing, for example, if it's a software problem, it has an existing code base, it has an existing supporting technology, it has an existing environment around it. So you don't have a free hand, you get what you get, right? And then when you get the problem statement, then you're supposed to first of all not judge the problem statement. Now this might sound very funny, but in my own college few students were like, this does not make any sense, like what do they want us to do? I'm like, they want you to do exactly what you read. If you don't think you can do it, then just skip, right? Don't try to judge or act smart with the problem statement. So that is the first thing. The second point would be to take the problem statement, understand it, and don't immediately arrive at a solution. Don't try to force a solution on a problem, right? Always go through the process of something. So, for example, you get the problem statement and you really focus on the problem itself. Is it a problem worth solving? Is it a problem that is feasible to solve, right? And instead of, oh, I can use machine learning to solve this, oh, I can use data science to solve it, I can use robotics to solve it, don't do that, right? What tools you will be using can be decided later. First, the decision should be what process you should be using. So focus on the process, right? And after the process part, if you're sure about a problem statement, then you'll create the proposal, submit it, and hopefully get selected. And after you're selected, then hopefully most organizations will hold AMAs. So people who have written the problem statement, you get to talk to them. They'll not tell you much because they don't know much, and that's why it's a problem. And that's why you get to just get clarifications around, oh, do you have this API, is there a backend for this API? So they'll say, okay, yeah, the backend exists. So I go, fine, that makes sense, right? You can get clarifications on these kind of topics, and that's all. After that, you just dive head first.
Okay,
that's
so is
that's
there any
the
pro tip
problem
that you
statement
want to
cycle.
give
Yeah.
people while choosing problem statement? Maybe certain organization that they should, give lower priority with respect to certain organization that you have feel that they are pretty good at communication. They help you a lot, and so if you have any organization ranking in your mind, maybe if you can just share that as well.
Okay. I don't want to get a call today, saying, hey, Akshay, I saw your. So let's not name things, but most organizations out there are good. From the student's perspective, I'll tell a few things. First of all, choose a problem statement in which not only you but the team you are going in with can contribute, right? Some people, for example, I am very good at data science, I could have chosen an AI or machine learning related fields or problem statement. I did not. My problem statement was embedded systems. This is very weird. People are like, but you're a data scientist, why didn't you choose something data related? Because my team is not data oriented. My team was could contribute on this project instead of the data science based project more, right? So this is first step. You have to always go with a team, because trust me, you will need the team. No matter how good you are, you will need the team, right? So after that, try to apply for problems which are problems which are working towards a longer future. When I say longer future, which are working towards 5 years, 10 years down the line. My problem statement that I worked for is very quick, right? So I developed something that is being used, that will be used in one of DRDO's prototype military equipment, right? So that is a very short and very niche field. There are other problem statements. For example, AICT gives a lot of amazing problem statements, and Coal India or ISRO, for example, ISRO has like amazing problem statements, right? They solve for a longer goal. They'll not give you, okay, this problem specific, solve it. They'll, okay, these are the problems that happen on a regular basis. Let's develop something that we can use to keep keep these problems at bay for a longer period of time, or for the coming future. So those kind of problem statement that has a longer future, choose those, because again, those look better everywhere. Like, you just solve this and like, oh my god, I did something that will last for 10 years. And then you can write it in your resume, and you can really learn from it. To be honest, like these long running projects, you get to experience a good working team around it. And then this whole process of developing the project from 0 to 1 to 10 to 100, right? and this whole process you'll experience, that is something different. The projects that I worked with or other short-term projects, they are very intense. So you go all in, and then it's just you're just done, right? You just succeed. So it's a yes or no. You shoot and you either you miss or it's a bullseye. But the longer term projects, it's a process. You go there and you enjoy. And I'm always up for process, right? Choose the process over the results any day. That is just how I think, it's in my humble opinion. But people can have
Okay,
preferences,
like
of course.
normally what I've seen that people generally choose a problem statement, and as you said, that first of all they have the thought key, okay, so I need to use IoT or maybe I need to use machine learning, and I will be choosing problem statement on the basis of that. But generally, people who actually build something that is useful think of the problem, then they think of the technologies. So, in a similar way, do you have certain more tips on product development, and even how did you develop your product? Because you also mentioned that you don't have a background with embedded systems, right? Because I know I had a subject that was embedded system, and it was really, really very tough. Understanding how 8051 work, how 8085 works, it was really tough, right? So how did you build the product? What was your product? If you're okay to share with that, maybe. So overall guide on product development will be good.
Yeah, sure. Okay. A small correction there. It's not like I don't have a background in embedded systems. I actually got into this field of tech because of electronics, right? Even today, when someone comes to my room and they see like my table of like where I build projects, they're like, "Why did you not choose electronics as your, you know, domain?" But coming apart from that, that isn't really relevant here. So apart from that, here's the thing: after winning the hackathon, I had like tears in my eyes, and I rushed to the judges, and two of the main judges that evaluated us. One of them worked at Uber, and one of them was part of DRDO, but I think he has switched now. So I went to them and really talked to them for like quite some time, right? How things happened, why did I win, why did they lose, or why did this happen, that happened. Talked a lot of stuff. They told me the first advice they told me is like, in the beginning of the hackathon, I was somewhere trying to subconsciously force a particular solution that I had in my mind on the problem, right? And he told me that the years of experience that he had, and he told me that it tells me that you have to listen to the problem. What problem, some problems really accept solutions very easily. Some problems you have to force solutions on, right? And that really depends. So you have an idea in your mind, you're like, okay, this will work on this because it's my idea, and I think I know it will work. I'm sure it will work, and you go forcing your solution. The other side of the spectrum is that you take a solution, you see if it's feasible, and if the solution is being accepted by the problem itself, then you go ahead with it, right? So what happens in this scenario? You don't focus immediately. Oh, should I use mon stack? Should I use main stack? Stuff like that. What you focus on, should this let's say you're developing a web app, for example. I want it to be responsive. I want it to have a carousel, that it should scroll. It should have smooth scrolling. It should have animation. You first list out the features that you want, or the solution, the sub solutions that you want, for that matter, and then you go back and then look for what tool offers this. And this is something I learned even at my internship that I was doing. So I'm continuing the same internship, that they taught me that never try to force a solution, really, because all the tools are just a means to an end. So once you have your sub solutions in your mind, that okay, my solution should have a front end that displays graphs, but my solution also needs an API that talks to a front end. Then my solution needs a back end that will calculate what is being displayed on the front end. Then my solution needs an hardware aspect that will give the data to the backend for calculation. Right? This is the whole tech stack for our solution, for example. So we knew we need a front end, we need an API, we need a backend, and we need hardware to calculate it, right? So now we know what things we need. Then we can decide on the tools, right? And then tools you are really free to choose from. There's some people will try to, and it happened with us also, that you, by the way, there you can get to freely talk with anyone. You can go to any teams mentor or any team table. You can make friends with them, talk to them. It's a long hackathon, so it's fun to do that. Okay. and we did that a lot. Like people were surprised how did we win, because we were like hardly on our table. We were always going around, making friends, talking to people, talking to even industry people and stuff like that. But one of the teams came to us, and they were in the same problem statement. And I think their dean was their guide. My guide didn't even go with me because he was busy, so we were a guideless team. So he came to our table and he explained to us why our project will fail, right? He told us everything, why our project won't work, why is it wrong, why is it bad, all that. So these kind of stuff also happens. And we could have, my friends were feeling, oh, he's a dean of a college, he knows better, right? My teammates were, faltering too. I was like, okay, here's the thing. He had a solution in his mind, and he told us, okay, this is a solution that will work. Does not mean that our solution cannot work. So let's just keep listening to the problem. And what will happen in SIH is there are multiple rounds of evaluation. So they'll come, they'll evaluate, they'll pose you very tough questions, they'll roast you, right? They'll literally roast you, and then they'll go. And then you're left wondering, what should I do? What you should do is then you should improve on all those things they told you. Hopefully you can solve all the problems. If not, you should have answers for all the problems, right? All the caveats, all the whatever they listed. Next time they come, after I think 8 to 8 hours or so later, and they see that you have reiterated on every aspect that they mentioned. That is the like that is the one thing that is must have. You have to, every team that won that day had that in them. They came and they were like, okay, you have solved everything I told you in the morning. Here are the new set of caveats that I see. Here are the new set of explanations that I need. And then next time they come, they get that, right? So that is something people have to focus on. They don't have to focus much on the 100% correct implementation part. They have to focus on the solution. As I said, always the process before the outcome. Okay, the
Yeah, and
process.
just
The process is the
interrupting
key.
you a
You have
bit,
to
like
focus
as
on
you
the
mentioned, it
process.
is a long hackathon. What's the duration when you stay in the office?
Oh, like again, we don't stay in the office.
Okay.
It's a very nice open environment. So you are there for 3 days. I was there for 3 days at
Okay.
least, and so I went there a day before, so for 4 or 5 days, and you get everything is prepared by SIH team, so you don't have to worry about anything. Like everything from accommodation to food to. By the way, the food was very amazing. So
This
kudos to
is
my noodle center.
uh,
So yeah, I live in
this is the
hostel, man.
final
So
round
like
you're
for
talking
me, it
about,
was
right?
very important to
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
This is the round where you build the solution in 48
Okay.
hours duration. You don't sleep, you don't do anything. You'll have uh, you'll have evolution round in the morning, in the
Okay.
evening, at night, and then after midnight,
Okay.
right? So you'll have multiple cycles of evolution going on, and it's a fun environment. You'll get snacks and tea to
Mm-hmm.
keep you awake and stuff like that. You'll have activities, fun activities in between, so music sessions. I remember for my nodal center there was a very fun music session that we had,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at like 1:30 in the
Uh,
morning. We were like, what is happening? Let me sleep. They're like, no, let's go have fun. But it was fun. It was an
okay.
experience.
Okay.
It was an
So
amazing experience, to be
basically,
honest.
in the final round, you
So
go to the nodal centers and you have multiple rounds of evaluations, and they judge you a bit, and they also help you and give you criticism feedback. So also, thanks a lot for mentioning, how to take feedbacks, because normally people take feedbacks in their ego and they're like, like the what I've built is the best. They're wrong. I will not do anything on their own. But it is really important to take feedbacks like they are meant to be. Now, taking a bit forward, I guess, like just wanted to know, like, do you pitch at the end or not? Okay. So, mhm.
yes. Okay. Here's the thing. When you have to pitch on a stage, it's a completely different. And this is coming from someone like I conduct a lot of workshops, and I'm a club leader. I was a club leader in my college since second year. So I became the club leader in second year, and from second year to fourth year I was the club leader. Did a lot of events in college, a lot. Like I cannot even count all of them. When you talk to someone from stage, it's different. What happens there is that you're supposed to prepare something called as the pitch deck, right? So you have your presentation, so PowerPoint presentation. Then you have your supporting documents in PDF forms, right? So for example, if they want, okay, this document, for example, we had a lot of formulas that we developed, right? So we had to write the whole formula and the derivation in a PDF file and store it, right? That, then you have your code base, you have your working solution, let's say screenshot, video recording, whatever you can produce that. So you have all of these, and then you put it in a USB stick, and they'll give you this USB stick. You put it in this USB stick, and it's taken by them. Now the caveat really is that you are not there to present it. Whenever we create something, we always have this idea in our mind about how we want it to go, how the process is. We have an idea in our mind. Okay, the user will click this button, then this will happen, then this will happen, and then you give it to the user. The user never clicks that button, right? So in this regard, you're not there to pitch. The difference is you are not there to pitch. They look at your pitch deck and they can interpret whatever they want. All right. So it really has to be, your pitch does not need to be perfect, but your pitch needs like absolutely to, like, people cannot misunderstand it at least. Okay. If they don't understand your solution completely, it is fine, but they absolutely cannot misunderstand it. Make sure of that. All right. Like, because our solution was like, very, I was talking, I'll just mention my solution. My solution, I worked for something called as speed measurement of unmanned underwater vehicle, right? So basically underwater drones, and they had to measure speed of drones. So submarines where people are there, it's the process is slightly different. But on drones where people are not there, they just don't have any way to measure it. So that's what I was developing. So my pitch had a lot of graphs about how translational motion and angular velocity and all that. Now I can interpret it. Oh, this will happen, this will happen, this will go from that. But I will not be there to pitch. So we really designed this whole presentation in a short, but such a linked format. Linked format in the sense everything was linked to each other. If you read step one, there is no way you can go to step three. You have to go to step two. Okay, and that is something. It's called a technique that you can guide someone. It's also used in interviews. Like, you bring the interviewer to your domain. They ask you something that is not from your domain. You answer in a way that they are pulled to your domain, and that's what you have. That's how you have to design the pitch itself. After winning, you might be asked to pitch or not. Never on stage. We like, at our Noda Center at least, nobody was asked to pitch on stage. But later, your companies can ask you to pitch in a video format or something. So
Okay,
that can
so
happen.
this in this it is like particularly interesting because I've never heard of this kind of pitch deck, because where people just see your pitch deck, not you cannot explain that. So this is also interesting, and people who are really watching this till now, make
Yeah.
sure to listen this and make the pitch deck. And if is it possible for you to share your pitch deck? I'm not sure if it is. Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, no, I
Yeah, I
cannot do that.
understand.
I
So
have to.
like,
You can tell, right? DRDO. So
and a lot
signed
of
a
time, even
non-disclosure most of the
talking
times.
on myself, I have a lot of confusion on how it should look, like talking of the design elements. Should it have a lot of design element, or should it be just plain white with blue text on that? So what is it? And also another, just adding on that, sorry for
Okay, good
interrupting,
question.
like, should
Here's the
we add
thing.
a lot of text or not?
Yeah,
And is
sure.
adding, sort of emojis and everything is okay or not?
Okay, sure. So, you mentioned that you recently moved to Bangalore, right? In most restaurants you'll go, you'll notice that they serve warm water first as you enter. Like, warm water is something they serve first, and then Here's the thing: a lot of people can serve whatever they want, like Coke, Pepsi, whatever drinks, different kind of drinks they can serve you, and different people have different preferences. I like mojito, and I enter and I get I get a mojito or a pina colada, and I'm like, okay, fine, I got it. I'm happy. Someone hates it, and they enter and they get a mojito. Their mood is ruined. They'll just go back. But can you go wrong with water? No. Everybody likes water, right? And the concept is basic. Basic is best. there are multiple people. Some people might like, bright colors and, good animations. Some people just feel it's overboard. Some people, there are people who are very experienced, like there were people there who had, double my age amount of experience. So I'm like, oh, like my father wasn't even born when the amount of experience he had. Okay. So those people will really not want you to go overboard with Figma and overboard with, all the designing elements. They want you to really have a basic, easy to understand pitch. Text should be moderate. So not too much as to, like, the way I talk, I explain a lot of things, right? But I'll not write my pitch like that. I'll never. But I'll not keep it undercut. I'll not undercut it either. So it has to, everything should be explained. Use bullet points as much as you can. If a paragraph can be explained in a bullet point, do that. Okay, like minimalism will win for sure. There will be different people there, people with, UI UX design background. They'll come to you, they're like, it's not beautiful. It happened with us also. Someone came and is like, he had a UI UX design background. He was like, it doesn't look that beautiful, your graph doesn't look that beautiful. I'm like, sir, it's a single line. There are two axes, and you can tell what's happening by your look, right? I can make it more complex, but that is not our goal. Our goal is to demonstrate our formula, or our, our whole method that we have developed on the back end. So I don't want my attention to go to this part and then people ignore the actual part where I have used my brain, right? So that thing is something. Minimalism will win, even if some people will tell you, oh, this does not look as beautiful. It's fine. Don't make it look ugly, like not just HTML, but still, let's go with simplistic designs. And, again, back to basics. Water, you cannot go wrong with water. So serve water, everybody will like it. Let's try to avoid all those fancy drinks,
Okay,
basically.
that is also really like how you interconnected both of them. It was interesting, quite interesting for me. So, a lot of people must be interested, that I want to take part in hackathon, I want to win. And ultimately, there is an emotion that you felt, that emotional sorrows, emotional tears that you had. Uh, you were happy, right? And if you want that everyone who is taking part and people who might be motivated to win the hackathon, what can they do to be different? And sort of the final tips and everything, because I really like the way you explained everything. This is by far one of the best podcasts I've had till date. So thanks a lot, Akshay, for that. So, but what is your take on this? Like, how can people, be different and win? Like, what will your secret mantra that you can give to people?
All right. All right. First of all, thank you for saying that it's one of the best. To be honest, if I cannot speak well, past 4 years have been for nothing, because, I have to speak in front of a lot of uninterested students and keep them interested. So it is something, I have to do. From to this point of being different, you'll not believe, as soon as I received in the group the notification, right, that Smart India Hackathon 23 is coming along. I called all of, my family members, my friends, whomever I know who are studying in school or colleges. I'm like, I don't care how busy you are. I don't care if you're in class 10th and you have your board exams coming or whatever. I just want you to participate in this hackathon. And each one of them, the first response is, but I don't think I can win. I'm like, did I ask you to win? I asked you to participate. And I'll tell you why. I have had hackathon winnings before this. One of the, earliest one was a blockchain based hackathon that I had won. Different forms of successes I have had. I got a very high paying, high value internship in my third year. Before that, I was club leader. So a lot of achievements that were there, right? But this whole hackathon experience of SIH specifically is completely out of this world. It is completely out of this world. You go there, right, and you connect to this on an emotional level. You don't connect to this just on an intellectual level. You connect to this whole thing on an emotional level. You see a lot of like, surprisingly, you don't see a lot of teams from IITs, but you will see them. And you'll see a lot of teams from, teams like ours that come from the tier 3 college, with the dream that we were not, I think we did not struggle enough earlier in our career to choose that, but now we have a point to prove. And you see a lot of dreams there. You see a lot of, fighting spirit there. And that whole thing you'll connect to. You will see, oh my God, all of these people are in the same boat as me. All of these people also come from the background where, oh, but I don't have clubs in my college. Oh, but I don't have a community in my college. Oh, but I don't have, similar thought process in my college. I don't have friends I can talk to about, tech stuff. These are generic problems. I had this, and I know a lot of students who are not from, good colleges have this problem too. And you'll see a lot of teams there. They all have come there with a dream, and this is something I observed in my nodal center. I'm not sure everywhere else. These kind of underdog teams generally win, right? So in my, even my, and not to say, by the way, not to put down anyone, even in my problem statement, there was a team from IIT, right? And I am from a no-name college. Nobody knows about it. It's in a distant location. I barely have 10 people who understand what I speak in terms of coding and tech and stuff, right? So you go there and you really connect with people around you with a similar kind of dream, with a similar kind of vision. And then you're like, okay, wait, you wanted to know how people were different, and I'm telling how you're same, right? Here's the thing. There's a book called, The Unfair Advantage. And what's the basic concept is that everybody has a very good skill in them. Most people have more than one, but you have at least one. Okay, and you have to really tap into it. Now the limiting factor is most people limit themselves by, let's say, I have heard people say, oh, but I am from a tier 3 college. You yourself have branded that you're from a tier 3 college, so you cannot do something, right? It's a self restriction. Nobody else is doing it for you, right? And this is something that limits people. You're like, oh, but I'm good at music, how can I do this? If you really want to, all of us have one skill that we're amazing at, and we can transition the principles from that skill into any other skill we want. It requires hard work, yes. It requires consistency, yes. It requires a lot of self journaling and all that, yes. But you can do it. And what happens? You go there, you find, okay, what is my innate skill? My innate skill was, my one of the bad traits is that I stay on a problem. I like really stay on a problem. I want to solve it, but I'm not afraid of reiterating. I'll discard a solution, start again. Discard a solution, start again. I can go with that process, right? That is my weakness as well as my strength, and that's what got me the cup. Some people have the cup of some people have the this disadvantage or advantage of perfection. They want to develop a really perfect project, although I don't suggest. Some people have the disadvantage or advantage of building. Well, I have seen teams which built two parallel projects, two parallel solutions, and then one of them they submitted because this was working better. Some of them really have a very book defined process, so they write down the whole architecture. They write down, they have very neat diagrams, flow charts. Their whole team understands the whole process. For my team, the process was in my mind. That's it. I was like explaining people, I'm like, you build the database, you derive the formula, and I'll do this. Not suggested again. Some people had a very book accurate process of doing this. So different people were doing different things, and I don't think that you really are going to copy someone when you are there. I think this whole environment brings in the unique factor in you, and that's the reason I suggest. That's the reason I called everyone. That's the reason I was like, participate. I don't care, participate, because you go there, and the environment will bring the difference in you. Like all of us have that unfair advantage, and this environment will bring out the unfair advantage in you. You tap into. You don't care what others are saying or what others are going to do. You care that what you want to do. There I was not at all, till the end I was not focused on winning at all, right? And there's actually a very good story about this. If we have time we can talk about that, but this whole thing, I was never going to win. I was participating because the problem was just so awesome. The problem just had so much, it so many interesting concepts. I was like, oh my god, this motion, that motion, the pressure difference. The submarine is at like a height. The pressure is different here at water. Goes underwater, the pressure changes, right? A lot of different aspects were there in this problem statement, and that's what kept me hooked. I was never focused on the winning, the money, or whatever, right? So this whole thing, right? The being different. If you're consciously trying to be different, don't, because you are already different. All of us are different. All right. Let's just focus on what you connect with. If you like this part of the problem, let's focus on that. Work towards it, and you will realize that you are already doing the different thing. You are already doing something, And regardless, again, regardless of you win or not, if you just participate, this hackathon will bring nothing but positivity.
So thanks a lot for the closing note. It was really, I understand the hunger that people have when, there is a thing that people feel, okay, so I have missed out. No, I also personally believe I also feel bad when I feel that I did not get in an IIT, right? So that feel is there, that feel is constant. So the hunger and urge people to always try to compete, but as you also mentioned, keep believe on yourself, be who you are, and go forward. So having these two things in mind will actually make you different. And although, as you mentioned, we all are different. So thanks a lot, Akshay, for your time. And I am really happy that this is just not another podcast or webinar or something on Smart India Hackathon. This is really useful, and I wish people watches this and they connect with you. So I will be mentioning his socials in the description. So in case you want to connect with him, feel free to reach out to him. I'm pretty sure he will be guiding you as your elder brother or whatever he wants him to be called as. And thanks a lot, Akshay. Thanks a lot.
Just something that I would like to mention here, since I have the platform. I hear a lot from some very established people, by the way, especially on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter, by the way, just for context. So especially on Twitter, I hear from a lot of established people that why do you not charge for this, or why do you do this? Like, you even get hate for some of the stuff you speak. And I told them, like, I showed them few of my DMs that I received, or also few of the messages that I've received from my juniors, which says, "Oh, Akshay, I heard, I was in your workshop, or I heard you speak, and I followed that step by step. 6 months later, I have an internship. 6 months later, I have a job. Thank you, right?" That's the only message I get, and that is the message I live by. Okay, my salary, my very good salary, is nothing compared to that message. The message that I get, "Oh, your salary is credited. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine." But this message that I get, that okay, actually I followed what you spoke that day, really connected with it, followed it day by day, and now I have this, I have gained this. Some people just message very simple stuff. They're like, "Oh, now I can wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning." I'm like, "Good for you, man. That's progress." Some people are like, "I have control over my life. I have time management." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's amazing, right?" And that is something we live by, people like us, right? You and me both, to be honest, both of us, we people live by this, and that's the reason we do this. It's like people tend to misunderstand, and that's the reason I'm like, okay, this has to be mentioned here. And not interpret nothing, I'm just another student in the same boat. I'm still learning, I'm still trying to make myself better. I still get rejected every day. Every day I get, if I apply to jobs, I still get rejected. So I'm nothing, extraordinary or something. Don't worry. To be honest, I might be getting more rejection emails more than the acceptance ones. So in the same boat, same kind of human being, struggling the same, right? Just listening to myself. That's it. So thank you for all of this, Aniket. It was really fun to talk to you. You were like an amazing host, to be honest. I had seen your few of your YouTube videos, and I liked them as well. So
Thank
thank you
you,
for this,
and bye
whole
bye.
thing. Thank you very much.